What is up, Ramley? LAFB here after a heartbreaker, a rare heartbreaker. This was a tough one. Comments are already rolling in. Anger, nothing but anger. Let's get to the
What
top.
are they saying, Ryan?
I got to get back to the top. There's so many.
Oh, no.
Party needs to go. McVay blew it. 2 consecutive blocks. These are Carlos Adrian went on a long screed. I think might be an overreaction, a joke. This team stinks. They're an overrated team. Bad cornerbacks. He gave me about 30 ongoing messages here. Thank you, Carlos. Appreciate you tuning in. We got a new guest, a new one here. Erin Coscarelli from Believe in Rams. She's going down under tonight. She's thankfully joining us for this live recap. Erin, I combined your two names. Erin, how we doing today?
I mean, a little devastated. We're obviously here just to kind of report the facts and be unbiased and really take a look at the Rams' big picture. It's been so fun getting to cover you. I feel disgusted. That feels about right, especially with the Rams and that long flight home. But, we look at the Rams, and we've had an opportunity, Ryan, to get to know each other this offseason, training camp, check out the Rams, their own storylines, what they've had to go through this offseason. Stafford not really being able to throw past to any of his new playmakers on offense. So what you've seen you thought the big storyline, at least coming into this game, was going to be, and with anything, the Rams offense. And really, it's been the defense. Unfortunately, the last 2 minutes or the last, not even, it does not depict the defense that we've been able to see this season so far. I mean, the 2 blocked field goals, I think, will haunt McVay potentially for the rest of his life. But the big picture, one of the big storylines was, McVay coming into this game hadn't beaten Nick Sirianni as a head coach. Now he's 0-4. This felt like the game of the week, even though it was a 10 a.m. kick for us here in LA. I think disappointing is probably the biggest word to use for those of us in Los Angeles, just because they came so close down to the very end, and they just couldn't pull off the victory, unfortunately.
Yeah, you bring up some good points there, and I think the ending script of this game was just awful. It just did. I mean, 2 blocked field goals. I mean, that first one really would have salted this game. It would have put them 9 points ahead. They would have been 1 point ahead on, even if they did go down and score that final touchdown. So yeah, I mean, what can you do about that? I'm not an expert in special teams for sure. It seems like special teams bites this team constantly, and this is a new one. Cardi has been knuckles.
I know.
And I was going to put him as like one of my stars of this game, interestingly enough, because of those knuckle balls he was laying down, and they were having such a hard time getting any field position off of those kickoffs. And
well, how about this? I think, is it Cardi's fault? Is it the line's fault? I mean, when we look at the 2 blocked field goals with this particular instance, and for those that are listening live right now, but I think it begs the question, who really does this lean on in terms of 2 blocked field goals? Is it really, I mean, Cardi, in terms of stats, it looks like it's his fault, but is it really Cardi's fault?
I mean, as a line in the trenches, they're going up, not in, so I was thinking in that one, I was like, is there a possibility that they could get another one of these?
I thought you mean like just now when it happened again. You're like, no, it's not going to happen again, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and like, what would you do? Because the guys are just going to go up. They're not going to charge forward. So is there a way that you counteract that? Can you get on top? I don't know. Special teams.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have to talk to Coach about that this week. I think that's an interesting point, right? Because it's the fact that it's been devastating in two like acute situations for the Rams, this is going to have to be addressed at some point,
Yeah, I mean, if it's something that's repeatable, but there's not a lot of guys, not a lot of teams that can put up Jordan Davis
Yeah,
and
true.
Jalen Carter, who again spoiled. I mean, not directly on these plays, but spoiled. It felt like he was in on in on those plays, spoiling another Rams victory. Real quick, we have to pay some bills. Sleeper Fantasy. Guys, if you haven't signed up for Sleeper Fantasy yet, Rams, LAFB. Oh, I can't do it. I'm usually on your side.
I'll do it right here.
Yeah, Rams,
Right here,
LAFB.
guys.
You put in $100, you get $100 from Sleeper. What do you get on Sleeper? It's all sorts of fantasy stuff that you can play there. They've got, they match this. I pulled up the wrong talking points.
They get
I'm new to
$100 deposit match up to $100 if they use code Rams LAFB. What a good! I mean, by the way, I've heard really good things about that. So
Sleeper's a lot of fun. There's kind of a daily pick'em aspect to it, where you can pick over unders for different player stat lines. We lost again because Tyler Higbee, I don't think, had really any impact on this game, which is a different talking point there. But go download Sleeper, have a good time with it. There's a community aspect to it. You can play with your friends, you can play with strangers. So a really good time had by all sports fans. Download it. It's not just the Rams. It's not just football. There's NHL coming up. We're a couple of weeks away. NBA, a couple weeks away. I don't know. Maybe we can play some Olympics. That's not for a couple of years, but we'll see. Anyway,
So you're saying it's fun. Go check it out.
it's a blast.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll have to do that.
So
I'm pulling up the box score right now because, I mean, it really was, I think, if we look at this matchup, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't it again a tale of two halves, similarly to not necessarily the same game script last week against the Titans, but this team can't put together 4 quarters of consistency, no?
no, that was exactly where I was going to go. That's what we were talking about heading into this. Can they put together 4 quarters of football? And it looked like they were well on their way to a nice blowout. But somebody told the Eagles offensive coordinator that you can, in fact, throw the ball to A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith and Jahan Dotson. Now, hey, a big goal of this offseason was learning how to stop Saquon Barkley in the running game, and they did a heck of a job with that. We'll give them some credit there. But outside of that, this felt a lot like a 2024 Rams game where they were able to expose their biggest weakness, the secondary. Would you agree that that's still a problem?
Well, I mean, yeah, but it was interesting. I think we all were, our nervous systems were soothed when we, of course, were always asking, are they going to bring in a Jalen Ramsey type guy? No, McVay felt really good with the guys he had in the secondary. Akella Witherspoon, of course, going out with that broken clavicle last week. And you're right, just pulling up the stat sheet, Saquon Barkley held to just 46 yards and no touchdowns, in terms of what he was able to do on the ground. And even Jalen Hurts was virtually useless. But, again, I think the big question is second half. A.J. Brown, they finally realized they had a receiver to throw to. And yeah, the Rams did not have an answer for him in the second half. And that's what's interesting because I think, is that where the Rams need to start in terms of shoring up? I think let me ask you this. After week 3, do you feel like you know enough about identities when it comes to the teams? Because first week it's always over, we overreaction Monday. We don't really know. It's a lot of speculation. But by week 3, you start to kind of really deep dive and understand the cadences, the rhythms of the team's identity. And I think figuring out answers for the secondary will probably be Chris Shula's, first task at hand moving forward, because it was really an amazing performance by the entire defense up front. And Nate Landman yet again, back to back, clearly showing why the man was brought in and how important he is to this defense. But in terms of trying to play an all-around great football game on defense, it's just the Rams couldn't do it for the entirety of all 4 quarters. That's frustrating.
Yeah, 100%. I think, no drafted cornerbacks, no UDFAs even really brought in, no free agents. And if you're an Ahkello Witherspoon away from this happening to your team, that's not a place that's not a good place. As good as he's been, he's probably a number 2 on most teams. Darius Williams had a really tough game, just with a size mismatch between he and AJ Brown, a speed differential between everybody and Devonta Smith. You gotta take that into account for, and also heading into this game, they hadn't played any teams with a full chorus of offensive playmakers. You look back to week 1, Houston, Nico Collins. He's kind of a deep shot kind of guy that was taken away. Nobody else could really get anything going. The Titans, I mean, they have a receiver, I think. But no, I mean, Tony Pollard's their best backfield guy. So, this kind of exposed the cornerbacks once they were able to figure out how to mitigate the pressure, stopped relying on Saquon Barkley, put the ball into Jalen Hurts' hands, and he still got it. The guy was poised the whole game. So this is an interesting comment that I would like to pivot toward. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah. All right. The Rams didn't lose because of the blocked field goal. They lost because the refs helped the Eagles. Listen,
that was not a taunting penalty against Puka. Come on, the guy does it every week. We can't do this now. Now it's like, I'm sorry. Yeah. There were some questionable calls that you want to scratch your head, but look, that's going to happen in every single game. Rams got away with some of them last week. It's just par for the course. But I agree. People are probably a little frustrated at the officiating, no?
Well, yeah, and I agree with the first half of that guy's sentiment. That comment is right in the first half because that's not what lost the game. What lost the game is bad red zone execution. They were running the ball with impunity. Kyren Williams and Blake Corum were both having a fantastic day. Stars again. And then they get down to the red zone and they call 3 pass plays on that first one. They end up kicking a bunch of field goals, which puts them up in the first half in a nice amount. But it wasn't enough. And then you look at another key stat I'm going to point out here: third down efficiency, just 3 out of 10 on third down. You got to hit those. Those are big plays. And I'm going to do it again. Nobody likes it when I do this, but I'm calling out Jared Verse again. He had a sack in this game, so we got to praise him for that for sure. Leads the team with 4 pressures according to PFF, 1 sack. But where is it when the game is on the line? Where is it when everything is when that play needs to be made? That's where I need to see Jared Verse take off. Now he's in his 2nd season. I'm not saying he's a bust or he should have been defensive rookie of the year last season. That's not what I'm saying. Is to take that next step into the Micah Parsons land, into the Bosa land, into the high end pass rushers who are in the conversation for defensive player of the year. That's just what he's got to do. And it wasn't all there. So unfortunate to not see that. So those, I think those are contributing factors as to why this game, wasn't there. And that's kind of why I was saying it felt like a 2024 game where the red zone play calling wasn't quite there. The cornerbacks were being taken advantage of. And in 2024, the Rams were able to escape some of those games, pulling out the win at the, by something incredible happening, some consistency. They were able to mitigate it. And this is a too good of a game, too good of a team, too complete of a roster.
Totally.
You can't do it.
You can't make mistakes. Then they got away with some of those mistakes last week. You can't have ill-timed penalties. You just got to clean things up. And like you said, Jared Verse made some impact plays today, but the team is still young, especially on defense, and they're still trying to figure things out. My glass is more half full than Ryan's, though. I think that this was the ultimate test for the defense, and they were able to, I think, extract some things that they're gonna apply and learn and do better moving forward. Because this essentially was another NFC maybe title game, if you will. And the Eagles are still scary. They're still just a physical, scary team. We had to go into but the Rams had to go into hostile territory. Never enjoyable to go to Philly in front of those crazy Philly fans. Are you kidding me? And make their identity or their themselves known. I just think it's. I'm sorry, your big thing is with Jared Verse, and there's a an all-around impact, but I think just to lose in this fashion when they were there. It should have been signed, sealed, delivered. Rams were leaving 3-0. Thank you very much, Eagles. And it just didn't get done. And I think, it's funny. Someone sent me a message like, well, at least it wasn't a blowout. I don't know. I feel like these types of losses hurt even more. I don't know. But, yeah.
Based on the comments, there's plenty of hurt to go around here.
Oh, that's amazing.
Lots of talk about the tush push in the comments here. Thoughts on that?
Do you agree with that? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's crazy. I mean, maybe I'm just biased because we're definitely not doing it with a Stafford type QB. And if I had the advantage, I'd probably be singing his praises. I don't know. I think it needs to get addressed. It just seems like it's just like you're just shoving your quarter. I don't know. How do you feel about it? I mean, I think we were curious how it was going to get called today.
Yeah, and they said that they were going to officiate it a bit closer, and they didn't run it very many times. I think it was just twice. High leverage.
It was
high leverage for sure. I mean, I'm of two minds of it. I love the play itself.
Just not against the Rams, or
just as a football guy, like I like seeing just like line of scrimmage, just like we're gonna get 1 yard and it's gonna hurt you, So it's just a sicko brain kind of a thing. So yeah, I think and I think it should be officiated correctly. Now, I don't know if you're not supposed to be able to push somebody from behind, so that's a little weird where everybody's lined up. If somebody's moving, they got to call that stuff. So, I mean, I think ultimately just the coach in me says, hey, stop it. If you don't like it, stop it. Figure out a way to stop it. Yeah. So, I mean, we know how it's being officiated, and the rule book is malleable in the NFL, and coaches, find ways to wiggle around it. But Bill Belichick made a career out of finding out how to, exploit the margins of the rules, and he's one of the best coaches to do it.
Were you at practice when Coach McVay was getting asked about it? Were you there on site? No, yeah. I mean, I wasn't there either. I think that was the Wednesday of last week, and he didn't want to talk about it. He was pretty mum's the word, right? So, just based off of how you feel these coaches either deflect or, speaking of coaches, Bill Belichick's not having himself a good start to this new adventure he's in, right?
Yeah, no, that's rough.
Poor Billy. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's always interesting when you're taking a look at how I'm going to be just so curious to hear Coach after the game. I mean, I'm sure he's talking right now or soon. And then how the lead up of the next two games on deck, which are the Colts and the Niners, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And the Colts have a really they're interesting on both sides of the ball. We'll talk a lot about them heading into this week. Niners are playing right now. In terms of the NFC West, the Rams won't be atop the NFC West because one of these teams, the Cardinals or the 49ers, are going to come out undefeated. We'll see how Mac Jones plays in this game. But you got places to be. You got a plane to catch. Tell these folks where they can find you, what you do, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, Ryan, thank you for having me on. It's been so
No problem.
fun to pick your brain at practice and get to know what you guys are doing. I love following you guys on social media, and I will be a listener of your podcast moving forward. And by the way, we'll be stealing your voice for my show. You can listen to Believe in Rams. I co-host it with Tyler Dragon of USA Today. He covers the entirety of the NFL, but has amazingly great perspective. And then our show airs weekly on FanDuel Sports, FanDuel TV, Sports West, SoCal, something of that sort. So if you're in SoCal, you can catch our show on TV, but of course it's available on all the podcast deliverables, Spotify, Apple, YouTube. You know the thing. You know the drill.
Yeah.
So tune
Yeah,
in.
we met. I believe you were out last year at Rams training camp as well. I don't know if we ended up officially meeting there, but she knows her stuff. She's dialed in. She's locked. She's an insider. She gets more access than we do, so she gets all the juicy behind the scenes gossips and whatnot. And just a great person. It's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag when you get in those press boxes. So we got one of the good ones here. But guys, I can never thank you enough for tuning in, spending some time with us. This was a tough one. It's rare. I said it at the top of the show. It's rare. We don't see this kind of loss very often, but you can't let the Eagles hang in there. But on to Indianapolis, on to Shane Steichen, on to my guy, Danny Dimes, for next week. But thank you guys so very much. And we will see you on Tuesday for our Winners and Losers show, back with Ryan Dyrud. Thanks so much, guys. Bye-bye.